We're short $115,000 for Debra's school. Mom texted me again. I swear I'm not crazy, even though I feel like I'm losing my damn mind. It started this time at 3:07 a.m. when my phone buzzed on my nightstand. I thought maybe it was Ben, my fiance, getting off his night shift early. But no, it was her again. Mom. We're short $115,000 for Debra's school. I need you to talk to your father again. Please. The same dry, robotic, desperate tone she always uses when she texts about money. Debra is my 17-year-old half-sister. She's my mom and my stepdad's golden child, the one who gets everything handed to her while I had to start working at 15 just to buy my own clothes. And this is the 6th time this month she's texted me about money. To give you some background, I, 29F, work as a nurse. Ben, 32 million, is a paramedic. We live in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Massachusetts. We've been engaged for a year now, saving every extra penny for a wedding next spring. We don't live lavishly. Hell, my car's check engine light has been on for 3 months. But we're happy. Or we were. My relationship with my mom is complicated. When I was 8, she had an affair with my stepdad, who was then my dad's coworker, and left my father, me, and our house in complete chaos. I didn't even get a proper goodbye. She just took her favorite dishes, some jewelry, and peaced out. I saw her every other weekend after that for a while, but slowly she stopped showing up. Until one day she just didn't come anymore. I spent years wondering what I'd done wrong. If maybe I'd said something to push her away. But therapy, bless it, taught me that it wasn't about me. It never was. Fast forward 21 years, and I somehow got roped back into this woman's orbit. It started when Debra was around 13. Mom reached out, your sister really wants to meet you, and we'd love to reconnect. And I fell for it. I let them in. I came to birthdays, graduation parties, even gave Debra my old laptop for school. It felt okay, like maybe there was hope. But I should have known. It always comes back to what I can do for them. Last year, when Debra got accepted to some elite private arts high school in New York, Mom threw a fit of joy like she'd won the lottery. They threw a party. They posted about it nonstop. And then, about 3 months later, I got the first text. Hi, honey, we're just $40,000 short on Debra's tuition. Do you think you could co-sign a loan or maybe ask your father? I ignored it. Then came another one. And another. The number kept growing. $65,000, $80,000, and now $115,000. I never agreed to any of this. Not $1, but the guilt. God, the guilt. She weaponizes it so masterfully. Ben says I should block her, cut her off for good. And he's right, logically, but emotionally, it's not that simple. She's still my mother. And Debra's this sweet, bubbly, innocent kid who genuinely seems to adore me. And the way she looks at me, it's like she thinks I'm some kind of hero. I don't want to destroy that. But back to the night of the text. I didn't respond. I just stared at the message until my eyes went blurry and I finally fell back asleep. The next morning, I woke up to another one. If you don't help, she won't be able to go. She's devastated. I hope you're happy. Like it's my fault. Like I'm the villain in her story. Ben was in the shower, so I sat on the edge of the bed and reread it 10 times. My stomach was twisted in knots. I opened my banking app, then closed it. Opened it again, did the math. No way. We're saving for a down payment on a house. We're still paying off my student loans. We barely have $12,000 liquid total. I thought I could just move on with my day. But then Dad called. Hey, Peanut, I need to ask something. Did your mother reach out to you? My stomach dropped. Yeah, I muttered. She wants money. Again. He sighed hard into the phone. She called me, too. She wants both of us to co-sign a loan. I rubbed my temples. Did you say no? A pause. Too long. I told her I'd think about it. Dad. I know. But she said Debra's at risk of losing her place. That she's struggling emotionally, and God, I know I shouldn't care, but she's still a kid, and she's your sister. My throat tightened. I felt like screaming. She's not my responsibility, I snapped. I didn't say she was. I'm just saying, maybe if we both helped, it wouldn't be that bad. I hung up on him. I couldn't hear another word. The thing is, none of this even scratches the surface of what happened last week. That's when it all exploded. That's when I found the letter. The one tucked behind the framed photo of me and Ben on our bookshelf. I don't even know how long it was there. It wasn't from Mom or Dad. It was from Debra, and it changes everything. The envelope was pale blue. No name on the front, just tucked behind the photo frame like it was hiding on purpose. I was dusting the bookshelf, something I do maybe once a month if I'm feeling productive, and it slid out when I bumped the frame. At first I thought it was something old, a wedding invitation maybe, but when I opened it and saw Debra's handwriting, my heart stopped. It was careful, a little loopy, written in purple ink on lined notebook paper. I sat on the couch and read, "Hi Emily, I hope you never see this. That's weird to say, I know, but if you are, it means something bad happened or I did something stupid and left it behind. I don't know who else to tell this to. You're the only person in this family who seems like they have a real soul." I blinked. Already my hands were shaking. Mom lies, a lot. You probably already know that, but I didn't, not for a long time. She lies about money, about where she goes at night, about what she spends the school money on. Last week, I found a credit card bill she accidentally left in her purse. She spent like $6,000 on a spa trip in Arizona. That's when I realized something was really wrong. I sat there frozen. Debra had never said anything like this before, not even hinted at it. Every time I visited, she was all smiles, dancing around in her oversized NYU hoodie, baking vegan brownies, talking about Broadway auditions. She keeps telling me I'm going to Juilliard, that if I just trust her, she'll make it happen. But I don't think she's actually saving anything for school. I think she's using my tuition fund for other stuff. There's this guy she's always texting named M. I thought he was a business guy. I think he's something else. I dropped the letter. I picked it back up, heart hammering. Don't tell Dad. He's already sad all the time and barely talks to me unless Mom makes him. But I think she's cheating again. She's always sneaking off. And a few days ago, I found these weird receipts in her email for some hotel near Cape Cod. Multiple nights, and she wasn't with me. She told me it was for a business retreat, but she doesn't have a job. She hasn't worked in years. Ben came out of the bedroom mid-read and saw me sitting there like a ghost. I handed him the letter without saying a word. I don't want to be part of it anymore. I'm tired of pretending we're this perfect family. If she asks you for money, don't give it to her. Please, Emily, please. Don't give her anything. And then, at the bottom, almost like an afterthought, I miss you when you're not here. Ben looked at me when he finished reading. His face was unreadable. She left this here? He asked, voice low. I nodded. Do you think she meant to? I don't know, I said. Maybe she chickened out. Or maybe she was hoping I'd find it one day. I don't know. Ben just kept staring at the letter. You have to tell her dad. Or at least talk to Debra. I stood up and started pacing. If I do that, Mom will know. She'll turn it around on Debra. Make her out to be crazy or dramatic. That's what she does. So what do you want to do? He asked. I didn't know. I still don't. But that night I couldn't sleep. I kept picturing Debra sitting in her room, writing that letter, thinking no one would ever read it. Feeling alone, maybe scared. She's just a kid. I texted her the next morning. Hey, thinking of you? Want to grab coffee this weekend? She didn't reply. For 2 days. And then I got this weird, curt message. Can't. Mom says I have to focus on auditions, maybe later. Not I miss you, not I want to see you. Just that. Something was off, like she was scared. Or being watched. I decided I couldn't sit back anymore. I called her dad, my stepdad. We haven't had many real conversations over the years, but I had his number from a group chat once. He picked up after 3 rings. Emily? Hi, yeah, sorry, this is awkward, but can I ask you something? told him about the letter. I read him parts of it. He was quiet for a long time, then whispered, Jesus Christ. Then he said something I will never forget. She drained Debra's college account last year, said she needed it for a medical emergency, and promised she'd pay it back. But I found out she used it to cover old credit card debt and buy a used Lexus. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to break the family. I actually laughed, like a bitter, broken little laugh. She's been begging me for money. Me. Like I'm her piggy bank. He sighed. I'm sorry, I should have told you sooner. I just didn't know how bad it was. He told me he'd been sleeping on the couch for 3 months, that they don't even talk anymore unless it's about Debra, that he suspects the same thing I do, an affair, maybe multiple. But he's scared of leaving. Says he doesn't want to abandon Debra. I don't think he realizes Debra already feels abandoned. She sees everything. I hung up and cried. For me. For Debra. Even in a weird way for him. But here's where it gets really bad. Later that week, I finally saw Debra. She called me from a different phone and begged to meet somewhere no one would find us. We met at a diner 40 minutes from both our houses. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. When I walked in, she ran to me and hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. Then she said something I still can't wrap my head around. Mom told me you're not really my sister. I just sat there, blinking like an idiot, while the waitress poured us both coffee. What do you mean? I finally asked. Debra pulled at the sleeve of her hoodie, eyes darting to the windows like someone might follow her in. She told me last week after she found out I was trying to talk to you. She said you're not really my sister, that you're just the daughter of a mistake. Her words, not mine. My jaw clenched so hard I thought I'd chip a tooth. I am your sister, Debra, I said quietly. Same mother. That's not what she told me. She said she only had me and that you were from before she got her real life together. Like you didn't count. I swear to God, I almost blacked out from rage. My vision went hot and narrow. But I looked at Debra, really looked at her. This scared 17-year-old girl who had no idea who to believe. And I knew I couldn't scream. I couldn't cry. Not yet. She's lying, I said flatly. I was born 10 years before you. I lived with her and my dad. They were married. I was a flower girl at their friends' weddings. There are pictures. I have them. Debra nodded. I figured. I think part of me always knew. But she gets in your head, you know? She says it so calmly, like it's fact. Like I imagined you. I took her hand across the booth. You didn't. I'm real, and I'm not going anywhere. We sat in silence for a while. Then Debra reached into her backpack and pulled out a battered spiral notebook. I've been writing everything down, she whispered. Since last year. I don't know why. Maybe to make myself feel like I'm not crazy. She handed it to me. Inside were notes, dates, phone numbers, even screenshots of messages she'd forwarded from her mom's iPad to her own email. And that's when the pieces started clicking into place. There was an M, there were trips, lots of them, and there were payments, big ones, to some guy named Mark DeLuca. Ben and I looked him up later. He's a personal consultant and emotional coach, based out of Miami, with ties to a pyramid scheme that got shut down 2 years ago. And guess what? He was also arrested in 2019 for fraud and manipulating elderly clients into giving him money under false promises of spiritual healing. Mom had sent him $42,000 in 6 months. My mom. The same woman texting me like a damn vulture for Debra's tuition. I couldn't sleep that night. My skin felt electric. My heart kept racing. I was so angry I thought I might puke. I told Ben everything. He was livid. We need to go to the police, he said. This is elder abuse, financial abuse, hell, maybe even a cult. But I couldn't, not yet, because I needed to talk to my dad first, not my stepdad, my real dad, the one she left, the one who raised me, who worked 2 jobs to put me through nursing school, the one she had the audacity to call last week to beg for money after decades of silence. So I called him, and I told him everything. And when I mentioned Mark DeLuca, he went dead silent. "Dad," I said, "are you okay?" "I knew that name," he said, voice shaking. "I knew it sounded familiar." "What do you mean?" There was a long pause. Then he said something that made my stomach hit the floor. "That's the man she cheated on me with." I had to sit down. My knees buckled like I'd just been shot in the gut. "You're sure?" I asked my dad. "You're sure it's the same guy?" He was quiet for a beat. Then, "Same name. Same weird spiritual nonsense. Same Miami address. Same guy." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. All this time, while my mother was pretending she was this picture-perfect wife and mother with a daughter at a prestigious art school, she was still involved with the same man who blew up our lives 20 years ago. Except this time, she was using Debra's college fund to bankroll whatever fantasy he was selling. "He told her she was meant for more," my dad said bitterly. "Said she was too smart to be a housewife, that he could awaken something in her." I swallowed bile. "And now she's sending him tens of thousands of dollars while begging me and you for Debra's tuition. Jesus Christ," he muttered. "How is this real?" I didn't know, but I knew I had to protect Debra. She was the only innocent person in all of this. I spent the next few days compiling everything: the letter, the notebook, the screenshots, the receipts. I sat Debra down and asked if she wanted to come stay with me and Ben for a while. "I don't know if I can," she whispered. "She'll lose her mind. She says if I ever walk out on her, she'll disappear and I'll never see her again." My stomach twisted. That was the kind of thing she used to say to me when I was little, when I begged her not to leave my dad. "Debra," I said softly, "I need to tell you something else. Something you don't know." I told her about Mark, about how he's the man who destroyed my parents' marriage, how he never really went away, that he was probably grooming her mother all over again, for money, power, whatever he wanted. She didn't speak for a full minute. Just sat there, lips trembling, tears gathering in her eyes. Then she asked, "Do you think she loves me at all?" God, that question broke me in half. "She loves you," I said, my throat tight. "In her own way, but her way, it's not healthy. It's not safe. It's not love that puts you first. It's love that protects her first." I wasn't sure if it was the right thing to say, but it was the truth. She nodded slowly. Then she said the words I didn't expect. "I want out." And just like that, I knew we had a war coming. I called a lawyer the next morning, a friend of Ben's sister who specializes in family law. She said if Debra wanted to declare herself legally independent, or at least file for emancipation, we had a shot, especially if we could prove emotional neglect or financial instability on her mother's part. Ben and I started preparing our apartment for her to move in. Bought new bed sheets, cleared out the spare room. I even stocked up on her favorite oat milk. And then Mom showed up at our door. No warning, no text. Just bang, bang, bang on the door at 9:30 p.m. while we were watching TV. I opened it before Ben could stop me. There she stood. Hair perfectly curled, face flawless, lips painted in that fake nude shade she always wears when she's trying to look natural. But her eyes were wild. "Where is she?" she hissed. "I know she's here." "Leave," I said. She tried to push past me, but Ben stepped forward and blocked her. "You're not coming in," he said calmly. "You need to leave." She looked between us like we'd both just slapped her. "She's my daughter." "Yeah?" I said. "And what about the $42,000 you sent to Mark DeLuca? What about the hotel rooms? What about the college fund?" Her face went pale. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, I think I do," I said. "And so does Debra." She blinked. Just once. And then something behind her eyes broke. Her whole body slumped. Not dramatically. Not like a movie, just hollow. Like the life had been sucked out of her. She doesn't understand, she whispered. He's the only one who ever saw me, who believed I could be more. My stomach turned. He's a con artist. She looked at me like a child. But he loves me. I don't know how I stayed standing. You need help, I said. Serious professional help. Not Mark the spiritual healer help. Real help. She straightened up suddenly. Cold again, distant. You've always hated me, she said flatly. You've always wanted to punish me for leaving your father. I laughed, just one bitter, exhausted breath. You punished yourself, and now you're trying to take Debra down with you. She didn't respond. She just looked past me toward the hallway like she expected Debra to run into her arms. But she never came, because Debra wasn't even home. She was at my dad's place with a packed bag and the notebook in her hands. I closed the door, and this time I didn't cry. But the next morning the cops showed up. Mom reported Debra as a runaway. The police officer was polite. Too polite. Like he already knew this was going to be messy. Hi, we got a call from a Ms. Catherine Reynolds. Says her daughter is missing. Debra Reynolds? Age 17? I nodded, trying to keep my voice steady. She's not missing. She's staying with our dad temporarily. Are you her legal guardian? No, I said. I'm her half-sister, but she's safe. She wasn't taken. She chose to go. The officer scribbled something on his little notepad. Does she have a phone? She does, but I think she turned it off. Her mom's been harassing her. Can you provide an address where she's staying? I hesitated. Technically, I could, but something told me if Mom showed up on my dad's porch in her current state, rage twisting behind her expensive perfume, it would not end peacefully. I'd like to call my lawyer before I say anything else, I said. He gave me a tight smile and nodded. Of course, I'll note that. But just so you're aware, if Debra's under 18 and not with her legal guardian, it could become a custody issue. After he left, I sat down on the couch and just shook. Ben handed me a glass of water. She's escalating. I nodded. She's desperate. She's losing control. I called my dad and filled him in. He sounded tired. He said Debra was okay but shaken. She'd seen the squad car circle the block and panicked, thinking they were going to drag her out of the house. It killed me to hear the fear in her voice. She shouldn't have to go through this, I said, voice cracking. She's 17. She should be worrying about SATs and dorms and whether she likes almond milk lattes or oat. She's lucky to have you, my dad said. But I didn't feel lucky. I felt like I was wading through quicksand, dragging everyone behind me. And then, 2 nights later, it got worse. Ben and I were asleep when my phone buzzed. 1:43 a.m. It was Debra. I'm scared. I think she found me. She texted me a photo of the house. She's outside. I bolted upright. Ben and I drove to my dad's house in under 15 minutes. She was gone by the time we got there. My mother, I mean. But she'd left a note shoved into the mailbox. I hope you're happy, Debra. You broke my heart. You turned my own family against me. You'll regret this when he leaves you, too. She's talking about Mark, Debra whispered, staring at the note. She thinks we're the same, like I'm just another her. It scared me. How delusional Mom was getting. How blurred her sense of reality had become. She's unraveling, I told the lawyer the next day. I don't think Debra's safe with her anymore. I agree, she said. We can file for emergency temporary guardianship based on emotional abuse and financial instability. It's not a slam dunk, but it gives us time. That night, I helped Debra start drafting her own affidavit. She wrote about the yelling, the guilt trips, the emotional blackmail, the constant shifting of truth, how her mother made her feel like property, like a thing she owned, not a person she loved. She ended it with, I just want a chance to become someone she doesn't own. I cried when I read it. We filed the petition the next morning. My mother exploded. First with texts, then with emails. Then voicemails that ranged from begging, please, baby, I'll fix it, I swear, to venom. You ungrateful little brat, after everything I gave you. She even emailed Ben, Subject line: Are you proud of this? Message: You've poisoned her. You let her turn my baby against me. I hope your wife knows she's no better than the woman she claims to hate. He blocked her. I did too, finally. After years of always leaving the door cracked open. But the moment that wrecked me the most? She texted my dad. After all these years, after the cheating, the abandonment, the begging for tuition money, she sent him a single text. You win. She hates me. They all do. That was the last message she sent before disappearing for 3 days. No one knew where she went. She didn't answer calls. Her house was dark. Even Mark stopped replying to her. I thought maybe it was over. Maybe she finally cracked and ran. But then, on day 4, I got a call. Blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. I shouldn't have. Because when I listened to it, my blood ran ice cold. You want to know why we're short $115,000 for Debra's school? You want to know what happened to the money? You're not ready for it, but I'll tell you anyway. Because I'm tired. I'm so tired. And you think you're the only one who's been betrayed? There was a long pause. A quiet, shuddering breath. It was never her money to begin with. I played that voicemail 5 times. It was never her money to begin with. What the hell did that mean? I sent the voicemail to the lawyer and my dad. My dad didn't say anything for a full 10 minutes. Then he called me, voice low and careful, like I was a bomb about to go off. I need to tell you something, he said. I'm listening. Back when your mom left, after everything with Mark, I gave her a settlement, unofficial, just to make it clean. I'd just inherited some money from my father. I didn't want to drag you through a messy divorce. I wanted to be done. My stomach turned. How much? About $120,000. I nearly dropped the phone. She told me she was going to use it to buy a place for you and Debra, he continued. Start fresh. I didn't want to fight it. I was stupid. Dad, I whispered, I don't think she ever bought that place. Number. She didn't. I found out later she used some of it to travel, to go to these spiritual retreats with Mark, to buy into whatever lifestyle he was peddling at the time. That meant, if I was doing the math right, the $115,000 she claimed was missing for Debra's school, that wasn't Debra's college fund. That was what was left of my dad's money. The money he gave her to walk away from us quietly, and she'd spent it on the man she blew our family up for. Again. I was shaking. I called Debra and told her. She just sat there on the other end of the line. That makes sense, she said numbly. That's why she told me it was mine in name only. That's what she said once. I didn't understand it at the time. We both went quiet, and then Debra said the thing that made everything click. I think she always planned to run. She was right. Mom didn't just lose her grip on reality. She was preparing for the fallout. She'd been liquidating, selling off her belongings, cashing in favors with friends. She had been building her escape. Mark DeLuca was gone too. A little digging showed he'd skipped town weeks ago. His website vanished. His phone numbers disconnected. His social media wiped. She was probably planning to follow him, take what was left of the money and disappear before Debra turned 18. She never expected her daughter to fight back. Never expected me to stand in the way. 3 days later, she resurfaced, in the worst way. We were at the courthouse, filing final paperwork for Debra's guardianship case, when she showed up outside standing across the street in a long coat, clutching her purse like it held the last of her soul. She didn't come over. She just stared at us. At Debra. Debra stared back. They didn't move. Not a wave, not a smile. Just silence. Then Debra turned and walked into the building, never looking back, and just like that, it was over. It's been 6 weeks now. Debra lives with us full-time. The guardianship was approved on an emergency basis, and the court agreed she could apply for college independently. She's working on her essay now. It starts with the words, "The first time I realized my mother wasn't my protector, I was 12. My dad and I split the cost of her tuition. She got a partial scholarship too. We're going to make it work, one way or another. Ben's been incredible. He built her a little reading nook in the corner of her room. She cried when she saw it. She said no one's ever made a space just for her. Mom hasn't reached out again. Her house is empty. The bank repossessed her car. She's vanished like a ghost that finally stopped haunting us. But some nights I still wake up from dreams where she's knocking on the door again, smiling with that too sweet voice, holding a suitcase full of lies. I check the locks, every time. But then I go into the hallway and see Debra's door cracked open, light spilling out, music playing low, and I know we're okay. We're healing, together. She's not just my sister, she's my family, and I swear on everything, no one will ever take her from me again.